startups have basically this problem that they're not getting good valuation at the early stage. So your take on that, because you have disrupted that phenomena completely.
Valuation in Indian ecosystem till 2012, I'll tell you, there were single-digit valuations mostly. But after the emergence of so many unicorns in India, and more importantly, today we are about 5,000 angel investors across India, and every year around 30, 40 new investor groups are adding. So money is in surplus in early stage, right? Okay. So the good startup, I'm talking about a top 1% startup, they have many options, right? So they don't want to, they've made a thumb rule. Most of the good startups I meet, they say, I don't want to dilute more than 20% any stage in the seed stage. Earlier it was like, even they were diluting 35%, right? Gone are those days now.
That was one of the problems. I mean, right at the very early stage, they were diluting 40%, 30%, 35%.
Yeah. So the reason why it was so, because in the Indian startup ecosystem, there was no clear foresight. There was no clear sight of what will be the path of the unicorns. Now we know the unicorns will be created only after 4 or 5 rounds of funding, right? So by that time, there will be nothing left in the hand of the co-founders. Now the startup co-founders know. So the trend is changing in Indian ecosystem, and this actually has already changed in the, I mean, we are now the third largest startup economy. So we also have to learn, right? In US, it is already changed. There is no valuation discussion because it is convertible note, right? So the caps are fixed and it is convertible note. In all the seed investments are happening on the convertible note. There is no equity investment happening. So the instrument has to come in India as well. So so we have to also evolve.
But this trend is, I still feel that apart from your organization, Venture Catalyst, I mean, you are pioneering both in terms of basically the higher valuation and the faster deals, because these are.
See, I tell you,
how many other people are doing it?
Yeah,
few.
So I will say the valuation is something which people calculate, because most of the traditional angel investors. They come from the stock market background. So in that case, what happens, they forget the value which a startup is going to generate, right? So that's, from my point of view, I believe that's not the right approach actually. Because these are two different asset classes. Stock market they act totally in a different way. This angel investments and early stage investment works in a very totally different way, right? And that's the reason we have to look at it, totally different way. Startup, when you're investing in a startup, you're investing in a business, right? You're creating a value, right? And this value is multiplying year on year basis, right? And the kind of multipliers which happens in the startup ecosystem not comparable to stock market at all, right? So the reason why we suggest every angel investor to look at it differently, because this asset class is totally different, right? And the kind of valuation expectations from the startups keeps changing with lot of factors. So it is not linked to any sector, or it is it is basically it is a demand and supply thing, right? So today, if you startup economy grow, the valuation automatically grows, right? Today in US, the same startup which is commanding 10 crore valuation here, probably they will command 40-50 crore valuation there. Because it's surplus money available, right? There are about 3,000 startup investments happening in US every year, right? So because there is almost their primary investments happening on the startups, right?
I just tell my audience that Apoorv Sharma and his company, they have funded 30 companies in last 2 years. In fact, not even 2 years, it's just 18 months. So that's been phenomenal, the closing, hit point. So how's that? That comes out to be almost basically more than a company every month.
Yeah, that's coming because, frankly speaking, we are known in the market for developing startups. Our core is incubation. we always position ourselves as an integrated incubator, because we believe if we develop a startup well, and we contribute towards the development of the startup, the investment and investors automatically comes around you, right? So most of the startups which we are investing in, they basically get oversubscribed largely because there's a lot of interest by the investor community in that, because we have been doing our job of developing startups very, very well. So first year we did 16 investments, and that was year 2016.
Yeah.
And 10 of them have gone, either they have given us exit or they have gone to raise a Series A already.
So 10 out of 16.
Yeah, so that's
a fantastic ratio.
Yeah, so that's the published figure, in fact. So that is a published figure, and other 6 we are still working.
Okay.
So their time might come soon. Okay. So that's where venture capitalists differentiate. Venture capitalists focuses on developing these startups.
Okay.
Money is something which actually is, of course, we want to give them good money, and we want to give them, of course, when we say we, our investor network who are associated with the venture capitalists. So there are a large number of angel investors who are associated with venture capitalists in multiple cities and multiple countries now. So these people basically have interest. So normally in a startup there are about 20, 30, 40 investors they invest in.
There's a dynamic like co-founding team. The opportunity of disruption is also there. What if the team has not tested the product in the market, they do not have a customer at that stage, and it's still basically at the MPV stage, or it is basically just a concept right now? Do you still give a serious look?
So you'll be surprised. We invest only in the concept stage.
Oh, that's a big news. I mean, can you just repeat that for me?
So you look into 90% of our investments.
Okay.
They are only in the concept stage.
Okay. So
we have built those companies. We are there with them in the concept stage.
Okay.
So if you're also having some great idea in your mind, you reach out to us.
Don't worry. I mean, after this interview, you will have one idea. And I know that people who are watching this interview, they'll be like, you will be flooded
our
with
expertise is here only. We
Okay.
catch the Sachin Tendulkar at the age of 6.
Which is fantastic. I mean, let me just congratulate live here, because I know after this interview that you will be flooded with the pitching.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where we come into, and
Okay.
we catch the sort of very, very early on.
Okay.
And we give them.
Is that the strategy why you're going to tier 2 and tier 3 strategy?
Yeah, that's one of the things, because I want to look into aspiring young entrepreneurs coming from these 2 cities. These are hungry entrepreneurs. Remember, they have big dreams in their mind.
Yeah.
And many of them have their traditional businesses. They come
the
out
family
from
businesses.
family and all. They also want to, they have seen there are 20 unicorns, everybody knows in the market, and they all have big dreams, right? But they do not, many times, get the right platform, they do not get right people to associate. So that's how, I want to democratize this whole. So our venture catalyst is basically democratizing the whole startup ecosystem.
Which is a big statement. I mean, democratizing
so
the entire,
I want to say, why only 6 cities?
That's a big question. I mean, everybody is asking this. And good
India is
good. The solution is coming
India
from investors.
Is so many.
Yeah.
It's 130 crore people now.
And that's happening in every segment. I mean, Indian cricket team to reality shows to
look into Indian cricket team.
Yeah.
Teams are coming from Jharkhand. The people are coming from.
The stars are coming
Baroda,
from
Lucknow, Kanpur. Now you see latest star, Kanpur guy, Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah.
So why just limit venture capitalists, or why just limit the angel ecosystem or startup ecosystem to only 6 cities?
Great.
Right?
Great.
See, talent is there. Right? You have to spot it.
Yeah.
And we are actually missing out a large piece.
Okay.
Because being only in these cities.
So, which are the cities you are focusing right now?
So, we are there in Surat.
Okay.
We are in Raipur.
Okay.
We are in Lucknow, Kanpur.
Okay.
We are there in, just coming in Ahmedabad.
Okay.
Nagpur. So, we are already in 5 cities.
So
and
just tell me one thing. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. So when you enter to a city like this, like for example, you go to Kanpur or Lucknow, what exactly are the things that you do there just to kind of like get attention and to tap these talent?
So we just went to Calcutta actually.
Okay.
I'll just tell you quickly. And there was, so normally we have a local partner there.
Okay.
Who understand that ecosystem better than
Okay.
any other person.
Okay.
And that partner basically helps us to connect with the local investors, local startups. And then we have a set program in Jakarta.
Okay.
We expect every city to have 4 or 5 kind of basic activity.
Okay.
One is startup boot camps.
Okay.
And startups, there are angel education programs which we run for
Okay.
them.
Okay.
A lot of investors in those cities do not know how to do angel investments. Right?
Okay.
They have money but they do not know what is angel investment, how to make money out of this whole asset class.
Okay.
So we do education sessions with those cities.
Okay.
For
to the
angel
investment.
for angel investors,
Okay.
for the investors.
Okay.
And then we do boot camps for the startups. Bring them to the different level, right? Because there are startups also do not know what is required to get funded, what is required for become a world class, maybe next unicorn.
Because that's one.
That education we do,
Yeah.
right? For the angel as well as for the startups in those cities. So then people automatically connect us,
Okay.
and then we have regular once in a month pitch days where we invite almost investors, ecosystem people, consultant, advisor, all of them come and meet our startups, and then the collaboration starts from there. So it's a very collaborative platform which we are building, right?
Okay.
Investors are only a part of it, right? One of the part of it. We have a lot of advisors, a lot of business people. They also connect to us during these pitches. So the ecosystem which we are building is a collaborative ecosystem.
Okay.
That's why we call it an integrated incubator.
Okay.
Right, where everybody is collaborating with each other, and of course, end product is startup gets money. Startup gets a lot of advisors, mentoring, and startup try and reach out to the next level people also. So a lot of VCs also participate in our pitches. Every investor group has its own criteria of evaluating the startup. Many times what happens, and that's how they differentiate, and that's how their successes are defined, right? So when I said this, what is good startup for me? I will look at basic things. People will look at the startup co-founder, right? I should be able to sense that this guy whom I'm backing is going to make money. Right? It's going to create a disruption in this space. So after a round of discussion with him, I sense that. Right? But in this evaluation of analysis of the startup co-founders, everybody will have different views. Maybe I like one co-founder, others may not like it. Some reason. That is one thing. Second, team is the priority number one, right? Second thing, what we look at it, the space, whether there are disruption possibility in that space or not. Like when I invested in Beardo, right? Nobody was investing in FMCG. No early stage group was investing in the FMCG space. We experimented. Within 6 months of our investment, Marico came and taken out. Yeah, so they are now the category leader in that space. So we experimented, right, in the FMCG where nobody was touching that, right? But we felt there is a huge disruption possibility there. Then we invested second company very recently, TCS. They are sort of sanitizing. It's creating waves now in the market. So we see the opportunity. Is there is an opportunity which can create disruption or not? If there is a possibility of disruption or innovation, that is our second point. And these two are the good enough point to take a investment decision.
Okay, so we come to the end of this show, this episode. In fact, we would like to have you again and again on this show, Dr. Apoorv. Can you point out 2-3 disruption areas where you personally as an investor basically see a lot of opportunities?
Startups in India to realize what are the strength area on Indian soil. what are the key opportunities available here,
Okay.
rather than just copying and pasting from the West.
That's a big blame on the
We
startup.
just invested in a company called Bori Kitchen. Right?
Boric Kitchen.
Yeah, it's into food space.
Okay.
Food space offers a huge opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of disruption possibilities there.
Okay.
So important for entrepreneurs to identify those big opportunities which are underlying.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, not tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Second, for the investors community, important for us to realize the time is changing.
True.
Right? There are enough number of investor groups in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In order to be a part of any good company or unicorn, next unicorn which is coming, important for us to, learn standard practices
True.
which exist, which is already there in the number one economies of the world, right? So be more, I'll say, let's not enter into valuation discussion. Let's enter into dilution discussions, right? Because that's the way how, today the things are moving in US fast. They do 3,000 investors in a year, 3,000 investments in a year.
Okay.
We are today doing maybe 400-500 just in a year. If we have to reach that size of economy, startup economy, we have to adopt the right instruments. We have to adopt the standard practices from there. These are two things which are going to happen. In any case, those who do it properly, they will be the market leaders.
And I see venture catalyst is already moving into that pole position. I mean, a lot of new pioneering things have already started.
Venture Catalyst is trying its best. Our positioning has been since inception to help the startup as much as possible. We have incubators, we have co-working spaces, all these places wherever we are trying to help startups. So we are trying our bit. Hopefully we do something.
No, you are doing great. Thank you again, Dr. Apoorv, and we would like to have you again on the show.
Thank you.